pass away, and she had left him $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever, and the parents would say, you know, John's going to college here. Totally messed that up. Then I'd learn something else. Wow, I totally messed that up too. And so more advanced strategies and planning that can go into it to really make it work out nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about, but the most important thing that I'd like you to pay attention to is that in the end, if you could write in here what you think about this presentation, this type setting, right? They want to get people there that they want, and they'll accept other folks, and they'll want them to pay for it. You're focused on these local scholarships, federal grant money, which is what you get when you file the FAFSA if you qualify financially. But the reality, apply to Harvard because it's too much. We can't afford it. But these are really sticker prices. And if we have our plan and we do things right and things like that, I don't really spend a lot of time talking about how college is important because usually, you know, we're already in a group of people that feels that way, if possibly going to, are a match for us. You know, we want to know, is this student predisposed to be a good engineer, right? Do they like that kind of stuff? I think it's the third page. There's a list of some of the college costs from some schools around here and also some other ones. It's from a couple years ago. So one of the mistakes I made was saying, all right, I either want to go to Miami University, likely to go to school. When you look at my grades, they're much more competitive. Because then why do they have to offer you a good package? Number two, Princeton had denied. Because for all the people that give me your best offer, and that's what we're trying to do. There are a couple of things that we want to know about the process, so that's how we have that strange thing where they're really expensive. Your class rank? What kind of enrollment do you want? Do you want to be in a city or the country, a place that maybe we would really, really like to go? This for me. And, you know, the answer is probably not. And why not? Well, because they might have 500 students. Be attractive. Not makeup-wise, but from a college standpoint, is important. Are we getting the best results? Okay. The financial piece is something that the parents can do alone.
All the things that you're saying, I mean, he's awesome in the classroom.
Yeah, good.
And they're visiting and at schools. 20 years ago, I had pretty much decided on Wittenberg.
Good, thank you. Let's go to the next piece here, which is actually how the whole money system works. And usually all that comes out of their endowment fund. It's invisible money at this point, especially at Harvard where they have $1 trillion endowment. It's never going to, they're saying, you know, you never want to pay anyone to follow. In my case, I made tons of mistakes on the FAFSA. It says, you know, it has lines just like tax, but it's like tax returns. They're not going to call you and say, hey, you know, you messed this up and it actually hurts you. It's more the other way around is gone, period. Okay? Now people say, well, do we want to take a gain? Do we want to take a loss? Do we want to defer income? When you're freshman, sophomore, so you have time to get this implemented rather than rushing around for that federal money automatically.
What was EFC?
Expected family contribution. Amount of money you're expected to pay for college each year. Schools use that federal figure as a baseline to say, hey, here is where the family's need is. Let's try to meet equity are included in that form, which is not in the FAFSA. And so,
you might have structure.
I'm sorry.
In other words, if you don't have it, if you keep the ownership with the parents, it can or the grandparents.
Your sister, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, when
no.
she goes. No. Oh, right.
You know, so I'm not talking about stealing. I'm just talking.
Yeah, to start at 529 now.
Oh,
and things like that. So that might not be the easiest thing.
But you can always change who the beneficiaries are.
Yeah. As far as the students, right? So if you're.
What about your child that's going to international school?
So there's different ways to do it. I'm not the expert on that piece of it. Okay. But you have somebody to, I'm not sure. What did you say? Yeah. Some free money as well. And you'll see the numbers circled. They were offered $23,000 early FAFSA award. This family appealed as the student have the most power the first year. Because after I'm at the school, everybody knows we don't sometimes you're going to have a loan. The idea is to get the loan amount as low as possible. That's the key there. If you have to take a loan, take a loan. To the college visit guidelines, work on the FAFSA, file the FAFSA. If you're not that attractive of a student, you're probably not going to get the big awards to go to school. But maybe the class rank, what are they involved in? Have you decided?
So as far as the financial strategy goes, my understanding is, and I'm just
conversation of, do you want to take some of your home equity out to do something else, which is that's huge. And what did I do with that money before I went with or savings with $8,000 and the report then there shows the key is fund the aid, $5,000 parent's name rather than the student. Okay. But
when you said, is it just the residential parent
yes,
that they?
Residential.
Okay. So is that the only stipulation? What if it's 50-50?
Yeah, if they have funny rules on certain things like that. So it's just, that's the way that we mention.
Where do you practice out of? Or is it?
My office is on Reed Road, which is just...
It does that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well then, not done, girl.
But here's the funny thing. She went to Miami. I didn't get it. Equity is exempt for non-Ivy, not technically Ivy League, but those type of schools. Rental property does count as well. Yeah. You give up some control. There's too many years from now until then to do that. But so growth over 15, 13 years will be significant enough to really, really help you out, even though it
Really
counts.
trying to, they've already maxed out the 401k, maxed out.
If you give it away, it's not yours, and you're going to
Estate planning as well.
Yeah, that's how I got started.
Attorneys and healthcare proxies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm okay to answer more questions, but I know some of you might have to leave. So.